I'm Lindsay Rittenhouse, senior reporter for Ad Age, and you are watching remotely. Today's guest is Dara Treseder, Autodesk CMO, who joined last October from Peloton, where she was the head of global marketing. Autodesk, of course, is the maker of software that powers products across various industries, including architecture, engineering, construction, manufacturing, media, and entertainment. Hi.
Hi, thanks so much for having me. So excited to be here.
Great. Okay, well, as the CMO of Autodesk, your goals are specifically tied to revenue growth. Can you talk about the significance of that as a CMO in a shaky economy where we know many companies are slashing marketing departments?
Absolutely. So Autodesk is a design and make platform that's basically used to make anything, whether it's a cleaner car, greener building, or Oscar-winning movie. So many of the places we live, the products we use, the movies we love that inspire us are designed and make with Autodesk. In fact, a fun fact, every movie since 1997 that has won an Oscar for visual effects has used one of our Autodesk products. The reality is that we are living in a world and in a period and at a time when uncertainty and volatility is our new reality. And so the way we work and the way our customers work are changing. And companies are seeing that, going digital isn't enough. Even in this shaky economy, you have to invest in digital maturity. You have to invest in sustainability. These things are critical because they drive greater revenue growth. They enable you to attract and retain talent, and they ultimately help you achieve your short-term and long-term objectives. And guess what? Autodesk is uniquely positioned to help our customers succeed and achieve these digital maturity and sustainability outcomes. But we can't help people if they don't know who we are and if they don't know what we have to offer. So I have to give all the credit to our wonderful CEO, Andrew Anagnos, and COO, Steve Blum, because part of why they sought me out and hired me is because they see marketing as an engine for growth that will enable not only us, but our customers to succeed even in the midst of volatility and uncertainty. And as CMO, not only do I oversee corporate functions like brand communications, but I oversee all of our industry product and portfolio marketing, our growth marketing, our e-commerce business, and our digital business globally. I have a team that operates in over 50 countries, and I'm accountable for driving demand through all of our channels. And I also have direct revenue accountability for our digital business. I believe that CMOs should be accountable to growth metrics because when done correctly, marketing is a growth function for the business. And as a CMO, it's our job to make sure that marketing is a revenue center and not a cost center.
Yeah. And can you give me a little bit more about why Autodesk is investing in marketing now, when so many other marketers are pulling back?
Because our marketing is working. I don't believe in the term performance marketing. I don't believe in that term because I think all marketing should perform. This is very corny and my team don't enjoy when I say it, but I like to say, show me the ROMI, show me the return on marketing investment. And 6 months in, I'm really proud of our worldwide marketing team because we've demonstrated that when done correctly, we can elevate our brand, we can drive growth, we can develop strong thought leadership that helps our customers. In fact, earlier this week, I was in London launching our inaugural State of Design and Make report, and we've already seen an 8x increase in downloads because the insights we're sharing are relevant and useful. We're also ensuring that the next generation is prepared and ready to solve the world's biggest design and make challenges. What I like to say, if you want to see where the world is going, follow the next generation. Since I joined as CMO, we've added 10 million education users to our platform. We now have over 65 million student and educators using Autodesk Design and Make platform. And we're just getting started. But when your marketing is working, there's an understanding that even in times of uncertainty, actually, that's probably the time you want to lean in more so that it can give you and your business a competitive edge.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And you hired Ryan Reynolds Maximum Effort as a creative partner to help build up the Autodesk branding. That's led to campaigns such as the Oscars Autodesk, a fictional Hollywood legend that turned out to be your company's tech that powers all of our favorite movies and TV shows. Can we show that campaign for anyone who missed it?
Of all the legendary names in Hollywood, one stands out, Otto Duschinsky, affectionately known to his friends as Autodesk.
What do I think when you mention the name Autodesk? Hollywood legend, icon.
I wouldn't be the filmmaker I am today without Autodesk.
He has been called a world builder, a dream maker, an innovator.
He changed game-changing.
Visual effects wouldn't be where it is today if it wasn't for Autodesk.
As curious as he was fearless, he would raise impossible structures, create the tools of our shared future, transform dreams into reality.
I mean, if Hollywood had a Mount Rushmore, Otto would be on it.
His grasp of technology is awe-inspiring.
He can do it all. He's a wizard.
What's your favorite movie? I bet Otto worked on it.
I never met Otto, but he changed my life.
And though he never sought the spotlight, tonight it will finally shine bright on Autodesk.
Congratulations, Otto.
Congrats, Otto.
Congratulations, Otto.
Thank you for everything.
Ladies and gentlemen, Autodesk.
Hi, I'm Courtney. I think there's been a misunderstanding. I use Autodesk software to make movies look amazing. There is no guy named Autodesk. Well, since I'm here, I want to thank...
And so the world finally realized what should have been pretty obvious. Autodesk is a software company that helps people make anything, like visual effects for movies, and skyscrapers, and space robots. The man and the myth were no more.
Oh, software maker. That does make sense.
Make movies, make buildings, make products, make worlds, make anything. Autodesk.
Very funny, very clever. So tell me, why did you choose Maximum Effort as your partner in building out this, big branding effort?
I love Maximum Effort. They're a really, really great partner. I actually found them and brought them into Peloton in my last role because one of the things that I think is really important when you're working with a creative agency is what is that alignment? And for me, I believe in creative effectiveness. I think that creativity is how you get exponential ROI on any effort. And so working with Maximum Effort, they get that. They see creativity as an avenue to driving business results. It's not creativity for the sake of creativity. It's creativity with an end goal in mind. And so when I got here into my role at Autodesk and looked at the work that we have to do, right? We have to have many more people around the world know that Autodesk is how the world gets designed and made. And I thought about, we need to find the right creative partner that can help us do this. And it was clear to me that, Maximum Effort would be that partner. And so far we've had such great fun and driven such great impact together.
Mm-hmm. Great. And you have these fun, lighthearted campaigns such as Autodesk. And on the other side, you're also promoting more serious work on projects, including the rebuilding of the Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris. Can you talk about that mix of tone and the strategy behind promoting Autodesk in these different lights?
Absolutely. The reality is, my job is to ultimately drive growth and impact for ourselves and our customers and our partners. And there are different ways we go about doing that. Like our Autodesk campaign was so successful. The spot performed 4 times more than a 30-second standalone spot on average. It was one of the top 3 spots from the Oscars in terms of driving online search, which is almost unheard of, right? For a brand that hasn't historically done a lot of TV advertising. And we saw those results sustained, a 2x increase in traffic to our .com site, and then millions of organic views and hundreds of thousands of organic shares, the largest in our history. But the reality is you got to have different tones for different things. People know our products and our customers are deeply passionate about them. But people many of our customers know us for the specific product that they're using. But they might not be aware of the fullness of our capabilities. For example, you might be using our product Maya to make your movie, but you may not know that you can use Fusion to design and manufacture props. You may not know that you can use AutoCAD or Revit to design your set. And so it's important for us that we are marketing the entire portfolio to help our customers solve their problems. This requires what we call audience centricity. What is audience centricity? In fact, that is speaking to our audience about what they care about in a way that resonates with them. So when we were thinking about what we were going to do around the Oscars, we didn't want to take ourselves too seriously, right? It made sense for us to be kind of lighthearted in that way, and we had tremendous success. On the other hand, we recently launched a campaign, To Paris with Love, which you talked about, which spoke to the restoration efforts that we have been doing with the French government. In that world, it was important that the tone and the spirit of the campaign was on point for that audience. And so that ad was much more of an emotional ad. And that approach worked tremendously. It was a huge success because it tapped into what Notre Dame is, a symbol of hope to people all around the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I just want to remind folks who are listening in to tell us who they are and where they're watching from. Okay, now how is AI disrupting the design work of Autodesk, and how does that affect your job?
Yeah, so I get this question a lot. First of all, let me just say, you're not going to be replaced by AI, but you may be replaced by someone who has mastered using AI to be more efficient, productive, and creative, right? AI is a tool. Whether you're designing a building, an airplane, a movie, design is becoming more and more complex. And AI can help human designers be more creative, be more impactful, be more efficient. But designers, we still want control. So we have to adopt our tools, including AI, in order to make sure that people have what they need when they need it. And we really think of AI as a collaborative partner to product designers, engineers, architects, contractors, enabling that rapid iteration of potential designs to help explore what if, right? Different scenarios for different materials, fabrication techniques. And the reality is AI-assisted design software suggests that design needs to meet a certain requirement. So I'll give you an example. In manufacturing, we call this generative design, where you start to tell a computer your basic requirements. Let's say you're designing a chair, and you'll say it needs to have 4 legs. It needs a surface to support a person's rear and back. It needs to hold X much weight. The chair itself cannot weigh more than Y. The materials that cannot cost more than Z. The software will then produce several designs that all meet the basic requirements. The designer can then work with those designs that appeal the most and dial them in to find the option that they most prefer. So the AI tests and learns from each iteration what works and doesn't work, and ultimately helps the designer to get to a much more impactful result.
Okay. Can you talk a little bit about where Autodesk is investing in marketing? So, we've seen big broadcast campaigns. How are you leaning into CTV and social?
Our global marketing mix is very comprehensive. Like I talked, audience centricity is at the heart of what we do. And, we want to use channels that reach our customers and engage them to take action. So we're using different channels in different markets. And for us, what determines where we invest is the return on investment and the customer acquisition cost, right? Everything has a target metric associated with it. Like I said, I don't believe in performance marketing. All marketing must perform. And so this way we can see what's working, what's not working. And we're not afraid to try things we hadn't done before. TV advertising wasn't something we had done in a really long time. And we've been leaning into it because we are having success with it. Similarly, we've been doing a lot more with social media than we had ever done before. And we've launched TikTok in our education space because guess what? If you're trying to reach students, 50% of search now begins on TikTok. We have to go where they are. And so that audience-centric approach to channel investments, that's what we're doing because we want to ensure that everyone everywhere instinctively turns to Autodesk when they want to design or make anything.
Can you talk about any of the social media platforms, specifically maybe TikTok, where you're seeing success, how you're driving success there?
Yeah, LinkedIn in particular is working really, really well for us. We love LinkedIn as a channel. It helps us reach our customers, but it's also great from an employer branding perspective, which is really important, right, in the tech space. And Instagram and TikTok are also working really well for us. Like I said, we've just started dipping our toes into TikTok and we're learning a lot. But one of the things that is important, I think, with social is having a center of excellence. So when I joined, we pulled together a center of excellence and then we're refocusing here. We haven't done anything really in influencer marketing right now because we haven't seen the need to, but we're doing research and testing. You kind of test, learn, and then you scale.
Okay. Anything you can share on the tests that you've been doing?
Well, some of what we've been seeing is when you do paid, it actually helps stimulate the organic. So paid is, when you're doing paid, you're considering your results on paid. But one of the things that you might not be thinking about is the halo impact that it has on your organic effort. So those are some of the tests that we've been running. What does that balance look like between paid and organic on social?
Okay, cool. And how are you prioritizing DE&I in casting and the production of your ads?
So I'm very passionate about this topic. And I will say that DEI is something that must be sewn into the fabric of everything we do. We can't only talk about it when it comes in, when we think about casting. Obviously, it is important to consider in casting, but I'm a big believer that we need to have more actions that lift up the communities that we serve. We have to put our money where our mouth is. And I'm actually proud of Autodesk and the work we've done. In fact, we just got ranked as by Forbes as the #1 tech company for diversity in the world, beating all the other tech giants from Cisco, Salesforce, Meta, Google, Microsoft, Adobe. So I'm really proud of that. Forbes partnered with Statista to survey 45,000 Americans working for businesses with at least 1,000 employees, and the participants were asked to anonymously rate their organizations, based on various diverse criteria. And so for Autodesk to emerge as #1 in tech is something I'm really proud of, right? That shows that we are putting our money where our mouth is. And we actually just made two big donations that I think are important. Only 3.1% of mechanical engineers are Black. And one of the things that we see is that a lot of the HBCU schools receive a fraction of the funding that their counterparts received. And we made a $1 million donation to Howard's Medical Engineering Department, which is the largest in the department's history. And we're working there to make sure and work with that school to make sure that, that the workforce is going to be more reflective of the communities that we serve. We also gave a $5 million donation to California State University Northridge to build an engagement center. This builds on the $2 million we gave them since 2020. So you can see for us, it's not a one and done thing, but it's that consistency that drives results. And this is about helping CSUN is a Hispanic serving institution, right? 53% of the students identify as Hispanic, and more than 70% of CSUN students are first generation. And so again, this for us is about investing in that next generation and providing them with the in-demand skills for the future. So yes, it's important to have diversity in casting, but it's perhaps even more important to be actually doing the work as an organization.
Absolutely. Great. Well, thank you for sharing that. We have a few shout outs. So Eben from Seattle, Kelly from Denver, Anchor from NYC. Thank you, for tuning in. Okay. Can you talk about any of the early results you've seen from Autodesk's branding efforts so far?
Yes, these results have been so effective. And, we talked earlier about why continue to invest in marketing, right? When the economy is shaking. I think as you launch campaigns, I think it's very important that you share results. So every time I'm constantly sharing with our CEO staff, COO staff, here are the results of what we're doing. Here's how it's working. I'm not speaking to them in language that I understand, right? But in language that they understand, right? I think, as a CMO and as marketers in general, it's really important that we are speaking the language of the business. So for example, with our Oscars campaign, we saw an increase in traffic to .com, a 2x increase, and 53% of that being driven by online search. That is language that not only resonates with me, but resonates with our chief revenue officer, with our chief financial officer, with our CEO, our COO. So it's important to track and measure that. The other thing too is when we're producing content is so important, but content needs to be content that people want to consume. So our State of Design and Make report, we saw an 8x increase in downloads than we've seen from other gated content, right? Again, it's about making sure that what we're doing and what we're producing and what we're delivering is what people want. So we're very, very focused. Everything we do, we measure it. In fact, for example, when I first got here, within my first 30 days, we wanted to do a test to see if TV would work for Autodesk, right? Because we are a B2B company. Even though a lot of our users are, of course, it's individuals using our technology, but people who purchase our technology, for the most part, are businesses. And so we did a test within 30 days of taking the job. We did a test on doing an ad in The Walking Dead. We partnered again with Maximum Effort on that. And that was a huge success. It gave us the confidence and the results to be able to lean into something much bigger like what we did with the Oscars.
That's really interesting. We have a few questions from our viewers. This is from Anchor. Would love to understand how you defend larger investments in campaigns that are meant to drive performance and brand building over the very long term.
So I think when you're going to make a large investment, you have to think about what does success look like, right? And not just success in the long term, but what is the short term and medium term definition of success? And so I'm very clear on what those metrics are. I establish them and I share them before the campaign launches, right? So once the campaign has launched, all my peers can see how did we perform versus what we said we were going to do. That builds confidence. And it's important that as you will have those long-term measures, but you also, what are some of those leading indicators, right? There are lagging indicators and there are leading indicators. So being clear on those leading indicators are great because it allows you to start to show what performance is, even as you're leaning into and waiting for some of those lagging indicators that might take time to build.
Mm-hmm. Great. We have another question from Austin. What are some ways Autodesk is trying new marketing efforts? Influencer, social, paid? I believe you talked about this a little bit, but maybe you could talk a little bit more about the tests you've been doing.
Absolutely. We're trying everything. For us, it's really important that we have a full mix. We're a very global company. I have a team that operates in 50 countries. So each different markets require different things and different audiences require different things. Some of the things that we're spending a lot of time focusing on and a lot of time working on is, for example, with social. What are the channels that make sense for us and what are the channels that don't make sense for us? And what should our marketing mix and investment look like across those channels, right? So much has changed, especially with privacy, being so front and center for the work that marketers are doing. First party data is a party you don't want to miss. So what are those channels that allow us to kind of gather first party data, learn more about our customers, show up more as having a conversation versus being an interruption? We don't want our advertising to be an interruption, but we really want it to be that conversation. And so for us, we have really focused on testing and trying out new things, TV, social, digital, search. And one of the things that we're learning is that what matters most is being clear on where the target audience is. So we start from research and insights to figure out where is our target audience, and then figure out also what resonates best on those channels, right? For some channels, it might be very short form videos. For some channels, it might make sense to have more longer form content and ebooks and more thought leadership. For some channels, it makes sense to actually just have maybe more brand advertising. So also learning what works best for each channel and customizing the assets. That's been another thing that we've been focused on and testing.
Okay, great. Well, thank you, Dara, for joining Ad Age remotely. This has been really great and insightful, and I'm sure really helpful for marketers who are trying to get that extra investment from their companies. So really appreciate you taking the time to go through all of this with us.
Thank you so much, Lindsay. This was a joy to be with you. Really appreciate you having me on.
All right, thanks. Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.